Welcome to the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. Here's your host, Brien Hanley.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's your man, Big B, Brien Hanley, along with Tim Fitzgerald. Welcome back to Big 12 Insiders. We appreciate everybody being in here. It was kind of a ho-hum weekend in the Big 12 this past week. However, there was some movement in the power rankings, and that is what we are here to talk about today. Big 12 power rankings, again, comparing those to what the 24/7 publishers for each team, they have their power rankings that come out, and we can compare them with mine with theirs. So we appreciate you guys being in here. Before we get started, just like always, man, remember to like, follow, subscribe, continue to get in the comments section like you guys always do, and hit that notification bell so you know exactly when Big 12 Insiders content comes out. I appreciate you guys. My main man, Fitz, how are you doing today?
I am absolutely wonderful because I have an off week. It's not K-State's off week. It's my off week, damn it. I'm claiming it as my own. And you know what I'm going to do this weekend, this Saturday? If my wife doesn't make me go out of town, let's not talk about that on the air. I'm going to sit on my ass and watch Big 12 football.
Yeah, it's going to be a good weekend this week. It is. And we'll talk about that a little later in the week. But, yeah, it's going to be a good weekend. And it's pretty much all day on Saturday. From the opening kickoff is all day long. So we're going to see some good football. Cannot wait. But let's get into these power rankings. Look, there was some movement, like I mentioned. Some movement at the top, movement at the bottom, a little bit in between. But it wasn't just a great weekend for the Big 12 as far as big-time games. But we're going to get into it. So first off, at number 16, I was torn, Fitz. I really was.
Oh.
But the last time I saw Oklahoma State, 69-3, I'm not going to get that out of my mind until I see something different. So they stay at number 16. I don't think there's any reason to discuss anything else. That was an abomination, and it is what it is.
That's exactly what my wife says when I walk out of the shower. Can't get that out of my mind. It's an abomination. All that. That's Oklahoma State football.
Oh, yeah, it's ugly right now. Real ugly. And not to mention a coach that pretty much appears that he's on his way out.
Yep.
So doing victory laps, taking pictures with fans right after they got their butt kicked. He's taking pictures with Oregon fans. I've never seen that before a day in my life. I'm like, yeah, this guy's one now. He's ready to go.
It was so weird. That was just, what?
Woo. Number 15, Kansas State. Look, are they going to be the Oklahoma State of last year? It appears so. They can't win a football game other than against North Dakota that they had to pull out in the last minute. They don't play physical football. They have one of the worst offensive lines in Power 4 football. It's just ugly all the way around. And then they couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop it against Arizona. Give Arizona all the credit. They took the fight to them. I'm not sure about Arizona. We'll talk about that in a minute. But even still, they went and won the football game. Kansas State's just a bad football team right now, Fitz.
Yep, they truly are. And I think they are in the same situation that Oklahoma State was last year. Things are going on that just don't make sense.
Yeah.
I think the causes of what's going on might be a little different. I'm not as familiar, of course, with Oklahoma State, but they've got this off week, and this is it. I mean, they're in the Alamo now. They're either going to go down or they're going to fight back and find a way to get on their feet. I have seen no indication of that except for small glimpses when they decide they're going to be a competitive football team, and the rest of the game they hang on for dear life. And they've lost 3 games. They're 1-3, but they're only been outscored by 9 points.
Right.
That alone doesn't mean you're close to winning. That means you don't know how to win.
Yep. One of the things that may help them, but they can't do it, running the football. Here's an interesting stat for you. 136 teams in Division I football, FBS. Group of 5, Power 4 all together. Kansas State's 122 running the football. If Kansas State is going to be 122 running the football, they're not going to win more than 3 or 4 games this year. I'm telling you that right now. if you're not going to be able to run the football. It's ugly.
Thoughts and prayers to the bottom 14.
Oof, brutal. At number 14, I got Colorado. Colorado fans have disappeared like a fart in the wind. He got all over me. Oh, Big D, you're wrong. Colorado is going to be so physical. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a Coach Prime hater. You can't find but maybe one or two Colorado fans that show up anymore. They're in witness protection program. And I mean, it's absolutely laughable. Again, they got their head beaten in. Now, this isn't for me, Colorado fans. Now, granted, I said that they were going to get physically beat up, and they did. Coach Prime came out after the game in their locker room and literally said, if you would have told me we were to come down here and get our butts kicked and give up over 200 yards rushing, which means they got physically beat up. Those were his words, not mine, his. You're not a physical football team. You're just not. And we watched it. You can't run it, just like always. You can't stop the run, just like always. You don't know what you're doing at quarterback. Coach Prime made a horrible decision to not pull that kid in the game. They were down 26-14. Houston had just missed a field goal. You had an opportunity. Okay, we need a spark. Let's change something up here. You don't do it. Then the kid goes out and throws an interception. 3 plays later, Houston scores, game's over. And I'm just like, those are decisions that experienced head coaches make. Coach Prime didn't do it. He deserves criticism, whether people want to believe that or not. That doesn't make you a hater. If you're white, that doesn't make you racist. It just means that Coach Prime didn't do a good job of coaching. Period. End of story.
Hot take incoming. Real fans stick around long enough to say, God, we suck.
Exactly.
And they ride with you even when you're bad.
Yes.
And if they hit the door running and say, hey, it's time to do something else with my Saturdays altogether, well, they weren't invested enough.
No. And look, I'm not saying Colorado's season's over. I mean, it's too early in the season to say anything remotely like that. But if it doesn't change, just like we talked about Kansas State, if it doesn't change, this is what you are. And they won't win more than 4 or 5 games if they can't figure out how to be a more physical football team. It's just not going to happen for them. They don't have Travis Hunter. They don't have Shedeur Sanders. So it's not going to happen if you can't figure out how to be a more physical football team. Period. End of story. So number 13, I got UCF. Didn't play. I don't think we know much about UCF at this point. We just they played a bad Jacksonville State team. I know it was a rain delay, and then they blew out some. I can't even remember who they blew out. Some FCS opponent. We'll find out soon enough about UCF and what they can do. But right now, I got them at 13. I think that's a good spot for them.
I agree. Totally.
Yeah. They won 2 games. Give them credit for winning 2 games. And number 12, moved them up, Fitz. Moved them up. The West Virginia Mountaineers. Mm-hmm. Look, first off, I got a little pushback on Saturday, a little video talking about they pulled themselves off the scrap heap against Pitt. But it was the truth.
Yes.
They tried to give the football game away. They tried to give it away. 2 bad interceptions that you can't make. A young quarterback, but don't put him in that position, I guess. But either way, down 10, late in the game, find a way to tie it, have all the momentum, and go on and win the game. Give them all the credit. Give them all the credit. They came back. There's opportunity. Look, you lose to Ohio, which it turns out Ohio apparently isn't that bad, Fitz. They gave Ohio State everything they wanted for a half. Yep. Everything they wanted. But you lose that game that everybody thought you should have won. You're down 10 to your rival. Hey, man, you could pack it in. They didn't pack it in. I give them credit.
Agreed. I thought that was a notable way to win, though. They didn't play well, but they found a way to beat a rival. And so I would like to just say at this point, Pitt, you can go ahead and eat that stuff. I'm not going to say the actual phrase. But, yeah, congratulations to the Mountaineers. That had to feel good.
Well, and you saw Rich Rod's emotion after the game. It seemed, I said this yesterday, he seemed like a guy that was back within a fan base that deep down in his heart, and it showed on his face, that he knew he should have never left to begin with. That's what that looked like, a guy that won a big game at the place that he should have been for 30 years, and he decided to leave, and now he's back. Got to build the program. Still a lot of questions, but he's back home. That was a good win for West Virginia. I'm happy for that program. At number 11, I got Cincinnati. Didn't learn anything about them. 70-0, Northwestern State. It is what it is. But they won the game. Again, there's a lot more to Cincinnati, because I'm still disappointed the way they gave the game away against Nebraska. That's my thing. They had an opportunity. They would be higher in these rankings. It's not that I think Nebraska's so great, is that you didn't play well and you were right in the ball game and had a chance to win and gave it away. If you don't give it away, there's a difference. But you give the game away. Like, that was a silly throw that was made by a veteran quarterback. So the jury's still out for me on Cincinnati, but I think 11 is a good spot for them right now.
Honestly, I think they might be a little bit better than I expected. So is Arizona. So this is what I love about it. You got to play the games.
Yeah.
You can't always tell in preseason what a team's going to be. And we've seen it in the Big 12 pretty obviously the last few years.
Absolutely. So we go to the first graphic. You got the first 6. And again, we compare it to the publishers. I mean, it's close. 16, 15. Ooh, giving Colorado a little bit more credit. What, West Virginia can't get credit for that win?
I thought that was really interesting.
Publishers, what are we doing?
I need to go back and look at my own rankings if I screwed that up, because that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I'm giving West Virginia credit. Look, Pitt is better than anybody UCF has played and beaten. So I know they lost to Ohio, but I'm going to say this. Ohio is better than anybody that UCF has played. So, and it was on the road. So that's why I have them where they are. And I just tried to make some logic out of it, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Number 10, I have KU. They were off. Last time we saw them, KU was giving up almost 600 yards of offense. And then their offense in itself was inconsistent, got off to a fast start and then came to a snail's pace, and were never able to catch up or rekindle what they started early at Missouri. It was an opportunity. Now, Missouri's a good football team. I don't think Missouri should be going out and getting 600 yards of total offense against Power 4 schools, but they're a good football team, no doubt about that. We'll find out more about KU. I mean, they host West Virginia this week. We're going to find out more about what KU is about in the coming weeks.
That's good. That's a very interesting matchup right there.
Mm-hmm. West Virginia going on the road, big win. I mean, you could say the big letdown game is right around the corner, but maybe it's a turning point. Who knows? Who knows? Same thing with KU coming off that loss to Missouri, able to take an off week, regroup, and we'll see what happens. But I have them at 10. At 9, Arizona State. Arizona State fan, look, you got to show me. And Saturday didn't show me enough to put you back ahead of these other teams that I have ahead of you. Nope, wasn't enough, Fitz. Wasn't enough. Another slow start on offense. They got it going, but I don't know. We're going to see Saturday, big game. We're going to find out what they're made of. They go on the road, but they just haven't shown me the same kind of fire that they ended the season with last year, Fitz. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe they're building up to it because they did that last year. They built up to it. So maybe they're going to do that again. But as of right now, this is where I got them.
I'm with you. That's a really interesting game this weekend. Both teams maybe not quite as good as we expected, but they can. Whoever wins that, it's going to be on the path to healing. So, I think Arizona State's missing Cam Scattaboo a little bit more than they thought they would. They thought they could compensate with passing game. And I tell you what, if you don't have a reliable running game, whether that's built around a system or a person, it makes life a whole lot more difficult. And
well, that's what's weird is that the running game is actually, they're running the football. They can't throw it. That's what's the weird part about it is that they are running the football pretty well. They just can't throw it now. It's like
Well,
Sam Levitt has been super inconsistent. So
well,
it's weird.
in my observation, and maybe I'm completely wrong on this, they're willing to give up the run defenses a little bit more than they were with Scatterbook. You couldn't
Absolutely.
keep your eye off him. So I think now they know Arizona State could really hurt you with the passing game. And I think defenses are paying more attention to that than they did a year ago.
Correct. They absolutely are, which is why their offense was so effective, because you didn't know what to do. And now teams are giving you the run. But give them some credit. They are running the football to take what they can give. But Sam Levitt's got to be more consistent.
Yeah.
But again, I just haven't seen their defense isn't the same as last year either. That's another thing. It's not the same as of now. At number 8, I got Arizona. Some Arizona fans think they should be higher. Look, let's just put it out there. Has Arizona played a good football team yet? No, they haven't. And you could say Kansas State, well, everybody thought they were going to be good, and we all did. Everybody did. But then they played the games, and Kansas State is not very good. So the context matters. We thought they were going to be good. Reality is they're not very good. So, but I do give them credit for winning the game, because they were so superior to Kansas State as far as physicality. I mean, and their own mistakes cost them in that first half. I mean, that could have been 24-28-0 in the first half, but their own mistakes kept it to 17-3. And then their own mistakes let Kansas State get back into the game and tie it up. Like, there was nothing. Kansas State made a play, that 75-yard run, but other than that, they didn't do anything.
No.
And it was Arizona that allowed them to get back into the game.
Amen.
But give Arizona credit, man. Look, I think people had them, myself included, had them on the scrap heap this year. I know I like using the scrap heap. And they pulled themselves up. They're 3-0. They're looking good. Their defense looks super aggressive. Give them credit. They're definitely better than what most people thought. I like them at 8 right now, though.
You might want to button down the special teams a little bit.
Yeah.
You had a muffed punt because one of your blockers ran into your return man, gave K-State 3 points. K-State went 10 yards backwards on that drive, by the way. That kind of sums up the game. Gave up a field goal there, and then had the punter drop that punt snap, and there was another touchdown. So 10 of Kansas State's points came off of that. And like you said, they ran one really creative play in the game. It went for 75 yards, and then they decided, well, that was enough of that creativity. Let's go back to not doing anything. It was amazing to watch. Arizona clearly was the better team, and clearly again, Kansas State got beat at the point of attack, and it's happened whether it's been a Big 12 opponent or North Dakota or Army. They've been out toughed and pushed around in every game. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big game in 2 weeks, Fitz. Yep. I'm not sure anybody I don't even think Arizona State or I don't think Arizona fans even thought this game in Ames next week was going to be as big as it is. They're on their bye week, going to Ames. I mean, huge football game.
Yeah.
Huge football game. We'll see a lot because, again, Iowa State is a good football team. Okay, you go to Ames and you win. Arizona, I apologize. Arizona is going to shoot up the power rankings, and they should. And they're also going to be pretty highly ranked as well in the AP. But that's a different conversation for a different day, what they're doing to the Big 12, again, with the rankings. So, number 7, I got Houston. Look, was the physically dominant football team against Colorado. I thought they would be. They were. It's just a Willie Fritz team. And they found enough offense. They have found enough offense. They can run it. They throw it when they need to. But they've decided we're going to be a physical team. We're not going to let you run it. We're going to dictate everything on that side of the football. Look, I don't think Colorado's very good, but it was a workman-like effort, and they just kind of ground Colorado into bison meat. Hey, you like that, huh?
I like that. Very healthy for you.
Yeah, Houston's a good football team.
Yeah.
Now, are they going to win 10 games? Probably not. But I think 8 is not out of the question. It's going to be tough, but they're tough. And they take the identity of their head coach. Their head coach is a tough human being. He is a program builder. I know the man personally. You could say that I'm biased because of that. That's fine, but just look at his track record wherever he went. That's not a biased take. He just knows how to build programs. And I think he's somewhere right now, Fitz, that let Houston, I'm telling you, you let them get 8 wins this year, look out next year. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
Look, because he's going to be able to go in the transfer portal and get guys in the area, in the state that are going to say, you know what? We can go play Big 12 football at home. Let's go do that. And look out, Fitz. It's on its way.
And heaven help the Big 12 if he can tap into Houston money for NIL. There's a lot of money in Houston, Texas. I don't know how much it actually cares about the Cougars, but if he makes them care, we're all in trouble.
Yes.
We better get a bigger boat.
Absolutely. At number 6, I got Baylor. Look, not anything at Samford, playing against Samford this past week. I don't know. I think Baylor's a good football team. I think Auburn might be a little better than what I anticipated that they were. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm still not sure about Baylor's physicality.
Yeah.
Because that Auburn game was brutal. It was brutal. You give up over 300 yards rushing. I don't care if it's week 1 or not. That shouldn't matter. At home, they just got run over. And even at SMU, you gave up 45 points. Now, you came back and won. I give you credit. But how is every game just going to be a shootout? So we'll find out a little bit more this week. Arizona State comes to town, but I like 6 for the Baylor Bears right now.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not sold on Baylor yet, but 6 is exactly where they belong. And if you've got a team that you're really not that sold on at 6 in your conference, where are you at as a conference? And this season doesn't look so wonderful for the Big 12, but maybe that means it will be entirely possible for 2 or 3 teams to break away in the standings and build up decent resumes that might get multiple teams into the playoff. We'll see.
Absolutely. And number 5, I've got BYU. Look, a lot of BYU fans educated me. I guess not educated me, really just told me what was going to happen with the season. And I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. You lose your quarterback. They chose to start a freshman, and the freshman is going to need some games to get, some things under his belt, get some experience. He's done that, going to continue to do that. But their season, for all intents and purposes, when we talk about competitiveness, starts in a couple weeks. Now, their offense, like I said, it's got to get going. They got to score more points because what they did the last time out, they didn't play anybody that's any good. Stanford's not good. You got to score more points to be able to compete. Their defense, on the other hand, looks incredible. We thought it was going to be incredible. They thought it was going to be incredible. It is. But for now, and leave BYU at 5. Again, haven't been tested. And we're going to see, but they just haven't been tested up to this point. And I'm looking at their schedule as far as this week. I don't think they even play anybody really this week. They go on the road to East Carolina, which, again, tricky games, going to play group of 5 teams on the road. I don't know, but BYU should be able to handle that. Even if their offense doesn't come, their defense will.
Agreed. I'm still not sold on BYU like other teams, but they've got something there. Let's see if they can start stringing it together.
Yeah, they do. And again, your freshman quarterback, he needs a little bit of time. So here we are comparing it. BYU 5, same. Baylor 6, same. They got Arizona at 7. I have them at 8. They have Arizona State at 8. Kansas at 9. Houston. So just a little different. I have Houston a little higher. I just think Houston is better. They've shown it now. Again, they'll start playing some of these teams, and we're going to find out. But that's the beauty of power rankings, Fitz, is that especially when you're talking about conference games, we're going to see it. And unlike the College Football Playoff Committee, who doesn't necessarily take head-to-head competition seriously, we here at the Big 12 Insiders, we tend to take head-to-head competition serious. We tend to actually look at what happens on the football field and judge it and base it on that.
And just a reminder, on the left is Big B's power ranking, and on the right are the 24/7 publishers, including myself, their voted polls. So it's always fascinating to track the differences. And honestly, even though I participate in the other poll, I think Big B's are typically better. I just do. I don't know. This is interesting, but they get pretty similar as we get up towards the top. Not quite identical, but they're getting there.
Gotcha. At number 4, I have TCU. Look, TCU won the game the other day, but I can tell you right now, Sonny Dykes, there's no way he's happy about the way his defense gave up 453 yards to Abilene Christian. Now, some of that was late. I get it. I said, but it's still 453 yards. So there's some questions that need to be answered there. They scored a lot. Josh Hoover is a great quarterback. I mean, and again, here's the thing. Up 28-0 at half, FCS opponent, big rivalry game the following week. They cashed it in. Let's not kid ourselves. They cashed it in. But it was a little bit too much. So, but we'll see. We'll see. SMU, I think SMU is still a good football team, regardless. I know they have fallen out of the rank. You can't even find them anywhere anymore. They've fallen so far. But I just think SMU is a good team. This will be a good test for TCU this coming up week.
Totally agree. We're going to find out. We are. And I'm still not sure on TCU. They seem to have a pretty high ceiling here. But they played closer to their floor this time around. But I think a lot of teams do that when the FCS team comes to town.
They do, especially when a big rivalry game.
Yep.
And apparently this is the last year of this rivalry for a while, TCU and SMU, which is incredibly stupid, I might add. Like, why aren't they playing? I mean,
make it
every 40-minute difference. That makes no sense, Fitz.
Every year.
We see something crazy. They should
play
play every single season. They should be playing. Just period. End of story. First off, they should want to do it just because you know how much money they save from travel, where you can just take a bus and you don't have to have a hotel, and you can literally just take a bus to the football game and come back home.
It's incredible.
No hotel, no chartered plane, none of that.
And you go play a game that sells tickets for the home team.
Yes.
It makes no sense to not play this.
Makes zero sense, but who are we? Who are we? So, number 3, I got Iowa State. Look, I talk about this all the time. When I judge it based on what I see, and that wasn't great football that I saw against Arkansas State. It wasn't good football. You have to pay a price for that. Just like I've made Arizona State pay a price for that loss to Mississippi State. When you lose and you look bad, and I'm not saying Iowa State looked terrible, but they'll admit that wasn't a good game. That wasn't a good look. You know, they are far superior to Arkansas State. I don't care about the elements. It also wasn't this crazy sold-out ruckus crowd either. Anytime they showed a shot of the stadium, it wasn't even close to being sold out. So it wasn't like they were in this crazy hostile environment. They just didn't play well. And it happens. Look, big rivalry game the week before, great win, go on the road, tricky again, FCS on the road, that's tricky. They played down to their competition and it showed. And for that, I got to ding them. They're at number 3.
Yeah, I mean, you go on a road to a team like Arkansas State, they got everything to prove. This is it. I mean, Iowa State's run into that, and just last year, wasn't it?
2 years ago, Ohio.
Yeah. Yep, 2 years ago. So I don't know why. There was a time when you wanted to schedule a game like that, but I think now you just can't afford to do it. I would love to see more teams go do this. Kansas State played at Tulane last year, those kind of games, but you can't afford because you've got everything to lose there. You're setting yourself up for trouble. Even if you win, like Iowa State, if you don't look good, if it's a struggle, you pay a price.
Absolutely. So, number 2, I've got Texas Tech. Look, Tech has played nobody. Oregon State, not any good. So the huge game this weekend, obviously we'll get into that as the week goes on. But I still like Tech. I said I like their roster at the beginning of the year. They haven't done anything that shows me that they are not a good football team. They have crushed everybody that they have played, and they're supposed to crush everybody that they have played. So, again, if you knock teams for not doing the things that they're supposed to do, you have to continue to reward teams for doing what they are supposed to do. I know people are going to scream, well, what about Arizona? Well, okay, we've seen what Arizona looks like, and we saw them play a bad team and struggle to win. Tech hasn't struggled to win against bad football teams. They have blown teams out, and that's why they are at number 2. I think they deserve it, and I think they're a really talented football team, Fitz.
What a tone setter this is early in Big 12 play. To have what might be the 2 best teams in the conference meet in Salt Lake City. And by the way, my apologies to the teams out west in the Mountain Time Zone. Apparently, you're going to get a crappy kickoff time every week.
Yeah,
a 10 a.m. local kickoff, because this game is the big noon game on Fox. It's the big 10 a.m. game to the home team. It doesn't have the same ring to it. They might want to work on that. But wake up, get a little bacon and pancakes in your belly, and go play some football and see who probably is the best team as we sit here today in the Big 12. And hopefully the winner of this game will be rewarded in the rankings. They're both in the teens. The winner should fire up those rankings if there's some movement in front of them with other losses. But we'll see what the voters do and how they view the importance of this game, because it's pretty big. These are good teams.
Yeah, it's big. 2 good, really good football teams. No need to hide it. Oh, we got Utah at number 1. Again, great effort. Good. Didn't start great. Seemed like they were looking forward to next week playing against Wyoming. It looked like they were looking ahead. And as I said yesterday, I'm sure that conversation, they were up 3-0 at half. I'm sure the conversation that Kyle Whittingham just went in and said, hey, guys, I know you're giving it your all. You're giving it the good old college try, and just come out and just try to give a little bit more effort in the second half, and hopefully things just work out our way. I'm sure that was the conversation that he had. And lo and behold, look what they did in the second half.
I know. He went in there and said, fellas, you're trying hard. And I think you feel good about how you played. So that's all that matters. That's exactly how those old school guys work. That's exactly it.
So there it is. Publishers have Tech, Iowa State, Utah, TCU. I have Utah, Tech, Iowa State, TCU. So I think some things are going to get settled this weekend, or maybe they won't. What I actually hope is that the game against Tech and Utah is so good this weekend that the nation looks at it, Fitz, and we're like, you know what? They play some good football in the Big 12. Those are 2 really good football teams that we're going to have to watch all year long. Now, us that follow the Big 12, we already know that.
Yep.
But the whole nation needs to know that. And that's why when we talk about this kind of stuff, it's very important that the games are good. Like the game at the first game of the year, Iowa State and K-State, only game on TV. It didn't start out great, but it ended up actually being a really good football game. The problem is Kansas State now is horrific. So the Iowa State win over them it doesn't mean anything because Kansas State is terrible, but this one, I don't anticipate either of these teams going in the tank. I think these teams are going to be really good all year. I'm looking forward to it. And to be honest, of the top 3 fits, you could have just thrown them in a hat and picked out any of them in any order, and you would have been right.
Agree. Those are 3 pretty good football teams. I think the top 2 for you, the Utah Tech, they've proven the most to me also.
Correct.
So we'll see where that all sorts out. But this is huge. I'm really glad I get to sit down at 11 a.m. our time in Central Kansas here, Greg. At Utah, it's 10 a.m. I'm so sorry, Utah fans. And just watch this game. My goodness, I'm a channel flipper when I got time to watch games. I ain't flipping no channels unless this thing gets ugly.
No, absolutely not. I'll be tuning in. It depends though. I may make the trek out to Fort Worth to watch TCU and SMU, and I'll have to bring the old testy laptop and watch Utah and Tech while I'm at the game. We'll see what happens. It'd be good to do both, but if not, I'm going to be like you. I'm just sitting up, just camped out watching this Tech Utah game, and I'll flip back and forth. We'll see, but that game's going to be a great game. I'm excited. But those are the rankings for the week, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate all the support that you guys have given us. Look, I just want to say this. You all stuck with us through a crazy, not so exciting summer. Like previous summers, there's been a lot of stuff that went on. Not a lot went on this summer, man. There wasn't a whole lot to really get into. And look, I just refuse to do the clickbait stuff. I can't bring myself to do it. Maybe there'll be a time that I will, but as of now, I just can't do it. So I appreciate all the support that you guys have given us. We've grown like crazy since football season has started. I want to thank each and every one of you all for that. And the season's we're just getting going. So appreciate you guys. Thank you. And we will talk to you soon.
Thank you for watching the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. This has been a Spirit Street production.